Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for Championship preview and predictions. Round 40. The number 4 is in the round. We must be close to the end now. Incredible. We are in the midst, as I seem to have said for about the last 5 videos, of a very long Easter weekend. We've got through now the first round. It's been all go on the channel. Previews, then a huge super stream, a watch along yesterday. We're here with the previews now. Good Friday stroke Saturday is done. So we now look ahead, no sooner that's done, to Easter Monday and then the 2 games on the Tuesday night as well, which brings a lot of teams up to 40 games played. There are, of course, games in hand, and we will talk about all of this over the next, 45 minutes we'll do, an hour, on the next round of Championship games. As ever, I need your predictions to help me out. Everything is ticking along the bottom there. We're going to go through in the order stated below, so from top to bottom, and we're going to try and predict what's going on in each of these games. It should be a little bit easier. We were a bit confused after the international break. We didn't know who was going to come back, when, and whether they would be in. So we have a bit more of a fair idea in terms of team selection and whatnot. And I guess we have a bit more of a fair idea on the picture at the top and the bottom. After the last round, in the automatic picture, it was good news if you're a Watford fan. In the playoff picture, it was good news if you're a Bournemouth fan. In the relegation picture, it was good news if you were a Birmingham fan. Ergo, it must have been bad news for Swansea, Brentford fans, Cardiff fans in the playoff chase. Coventry fans down at the bottom there seem to be the most nervous after the way the last round went. Let's get into this. We'll say hello in the comments in just a sec. Let me do my plugs and we'll get into making our predictions. We are sponsored as ever by the Donovan brothers for the preview show. In loving memory of Michael Donovan of South East London, a lifelong Millwall fan and admirer of this show. Always great to pay tribute to Michael, and thank you to the Donovan brothers, for the fan sponsorship. You too can get involved over on Patreon. Exclusive shows there every week. More on the way next season, possibly now. We'll figure it out during the Euros or something. You can also contribute via Super Chat any point in the broadcast. First Super Chat in a stream becomes the king of the bin. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, and please subscribe. 14,982 subscribers. Is the Easter weekend going to bring us to 15,000 subscribers? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Please hit subscribe if you haven't. But the most important thing is share your knowledge and have your say in the comments. Teespring store, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. Shall we talk about football? Let's just say hello in the comments here to Liam, JN Boys, James, Phil, Chris, I think mocking the picture I just put up on Twitter. That was taken on World Book Day a few years ago. Don't worry, I didn't pose purposefully for it. Mr. E, John, Pete, Robin's on tour, Samuel, Robin, Annie, Matt, Eli, John, and Dan. Hello to everybody. And please now, this is where you need to step up and get involved with the predictions. Let's get into this. Game number 1 is going to be on Tuesday night, and it is Norwich versus Huddersfield. Norwich a little bit weakened after the international break by having lots of players going away to international teams and under 21 teams. In some ways, that was the route. I mean, you can't say it's not a disadvantage, can you, not having your best players? But hey-ho, they weren't EFL games, were they, that they were playing? So it is what it is. But they're going to get an extra day now, Norwich, and we suspect the return of Max Aarons will be important, and Ollie Skip will come back in. I think McLean have played for Scotland as well. Not sure about Giannoulis. They'll still have issues at centre-back, Norwich, because Gibson and Zimmerman are out for the season. But look, they're going to put out a team on Tuesday that has Krul, Aarons, Skip, Buendia and Pookie in it. So you would think they're probably going to be okay on Tuesday night. They're playing Huddersfield, who we did on the watch-along yesterday. And Huddersfield got a point against Brentford. And I don't want to be accused of belittling Huddersfield, but it was more a case of, how can I word this being nice? It was more a case of Brentford kind of not putting everything together than, Huddersfield really kind of cracking down on them. Although Huddersfield could have had a penalty in the second half at 1-1. Should have had a penalty, I think. So there is an upward trend for Huddersfield. Is that upward trend big enough to convince me that they're going to go away to Norwich and get a win? I suspect not. Huddersfield are probably a nice opponent if you're Norwich as well, because they're quite pure, Huddersfield, aren't they? I know they did a little bit of tactical fouling before half-time, but they play out from the back. They're not going to set up to stop Norwich, which a lot of teams do, and that may well play into Norwich's hands. There is the table. So Norwich, I mean, look, probably if you didn't give Norwich another point to the end of the season and still played the last game, they'd probably still have a chance of automatic. They basically probably need 2 or 3 more points to absolutely guarantee their promotion, especially given the downward trend at the moment of Brentford and Swansea in that chasing pack. In terms of points total, so 7 to go for Norwich, 2 points per game. Now takes them to 98. So maybe not the 100. They'd probably need another 3-game winning streak to convince us. What would that put them on? If they won the next 3, Norwich, they'd be on 79 points, 93 with 4 to go. And then you would think it's on, isn't it? 2 wins and a draw from the last 3. And can they get 100? But, first world problems, as we've said many times. Are you going to get 100 points or are you not? For Huddersfield, 43 on the board for them. Rotherham, 35 of the big wild card. 3 games in hand. You would think Huddersfield, 6 points. 6 points to 49 from the last 8 games. Probably do it. 7 to 50. Is anyone going down with 50 points this year? I'm not seeing that. Let me just do the homes and aways quickly because we always do it. Although I think we know what this is going to say. Look, Norwich, brilliant at home. 12 wins, only 1 defeat, 42 points. Huddersfield, okay, 4 from the last 2 away. But I think you know where I'm going with my prediction here. Away. I'm joking, of course. Home. I'm very certain that Norwich will be winning against Huddersfield with players returning, etc., etc. Let's have a look at what you're saying. Home. Norwich too strong. Is it just me? Have you noticed Huddersfield, Preston and Birmingham are playing the same teams? I did actually notice that, Pete, because I wrote them all down before the show. So we can go into this. Home. Huddersfield improving, but Norwich win. Yeah, indeed. Out of all our remaining fixtures, this one seems the easiest on paper. Going to be a home win. Agreed. Home. Yeah, home. I think this one's pretty much a bit of a banker for us, this one. Just quickly on those fixtures for Norwich. So Huddersfield home, Derby away. And the last 5 actually gets a bit trickier for Norwich if you are totting up possible points for them. Look, Bournemouth home, Watford home, QPR away. QPR are good at the moment. Reading home. Okay, they're in the top 6, trending down, and then Barnsley away. So there is a potential for maybe a slight petering out towards the end of the season in terms of they can keep up the intensity. Obviously, they've shown they can beat all of those teams across the season, but there's an argument, isn't there, that there may be sort of levelling out as the season comes to an end for Norwich. Maybe they end up in mid 90s, but very much likely champions with a couple of games to go. Speaking of potential champions, I've been speaking to a lot of excitable Watford fans over the last few weeks. Let's talk about Borough versus Watford. Sorry, I didn't do this properly on the last one, did I? Get your predictions in. Borough, draw, Watford. Watford are the away team. I know we just give Watford a win now if they're playing at home, don't we? But they are the away team in this one. Get your predictions in. Borough versus Watford. Some sense that the defeat for Borough at Bournemouth at the weekend might have finished their season. It would now take a mighty run. Let's give Middlesbrough 7 wins from 7 for the end of the season. That'll take them to 77 points, which would get them in the playoffs. But that's what it's going to need, a massive winning run for Borough. And Watford, of course, I mean, what else can you say? Is it 10 wins in 11? Now, for Watford, just slamming down that accelerator at the key moment of the season. It's 6 straight wins now, and the pickup obviously away from home. We said when Xisco came, didn't we? If he can get their away form anywhere near their home form, and their home form anywhere near maintains, something like this could happen, and it has happened for Watford. Big style. Let's just check where they stand in the away standings now, and it's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't it? I'm sure someone will correct me. They were 16th in the away table under Ivic, but now look at that. 4 wins in the last 5, 28 points to add on to the 50 points they've got at home. Brilliant stuff. Borough, just inconsistent now, isn't it? Although, look at that home form. 10 points in the last 5 at home for Borough. Wins over Huddersfield, Stoke and Preston, a draw against Cardiff, a defeat to Bristol City. So not the easiest game in the running here for Watford. Let me read it to you. Borough away for Watford, then Reading at home, then Luton away, and then we get into that last 4 of Watford's that we've been talking about for ages. Norwich away, Millwall at home, Brentford away, Swansea at home. It does feel like Watford would very much like 6 points at least from the next 3 games, which would take them to 84 with 4 to play. And obviously those 4 are tricky. So all getting very, very interesting up at the top of the table. Let's have a look at your comments here. So Buendia did, I think he came out injured, but he's like one of the most durable players you'll ever see indeed. Parks and here, there you go. In honour of Ron Swanson today. Excitable indeed. Right, here we go. Watford draw, Watford, Borough, Watford draw, Watford draw, Watford, Watford, draw, Watford. You're quite heavy on Watford, guys, aren't you? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Pete's there talking about João Pedro. Any Watford fans? Is Sema going to be back for this one as well? They look well stocked. And at the moment with Watford, you feel that every game, if they can put out Backman, Firmino, Ekong, Sierralta and Messina with 2 of Cleverley, Chalobah and Hughes in front, they're going to be so solid, aren't they? And then, of course, if Sarr's on the pitch, you know he can get you a goal at any point. There you go. Sema back as well. If we get Sema, Sarr, João Pedro up top, you know, looking good for Watford. I'm going to go with you guys. Away win for Watford. 7 straight wins. I mean, look, we've already seen Norwich do 9 straight wins. What did Barnsley do? Barnsley do 7? Cardiff did 6. Watford have currently done 6 as well. There's been some great, impressive winning streaks here. And like I say, I think if you're Watford, you want to be 6 points from these next 3 games, Borough, Reading and Luton, and go into the last 4 games on 84 points, thinking that you might be able to draw against Brentford or Swansea. You think they'd be targeting that Millwall game as well. That's 87. And if they get a draw in one at 88, you're telling me you see Brentford or Swansea getting 89? They can really, really, really lay the smacketh down, as The Rock used to say, before the hard games. Everyone's talking about the last 4 games. What if they get 7 points? What if they get 9 points from the next 3? Be 87 with 4 to go. Pretty much up, aren't they? So I've said it. It could be an amazing finish. They could be dead rubbers by the end. Could just be where are Brentford and Swansea in the playoffs if a certain thing it plays out a certain way. But of course, it's the Championship. Right. Let's talk about Brentford then. Brentford up next, and they are at home to Birmingham, and that is the other Tuesday night game. So in terms of the channel, we'll be here on Tuesday night with, it's a kind of a super stream. I'll do the first half of Brentford Birmingham, then we'll flip in between the 2, and then I'll do the second half of Norwich Huddersfield. So it should be a good time on Tuesday night. And you know, at this stage of the season, it's big. Whatever happens, it's big. If the pressure's on, then it could be decisive for Brentford or Norwich. If the pressure's off, they could really push for their own means as well. So let's move on to that game then. Brentford versus Birmingham. Get your predictions in. Give me either Brentford, draw, or Birmingham. Birmingham, the story really of the last round, well, Birmingham and Watford, wasn't it? Getting that win against Swansea, which now has got us talking about Rotherham and Coventry rather than Rotherham and Birmingham, hasn't it? It'd been Rotherham and Birmingham, and now we've got a 6-point gap between Rotherham and Birmingham, and Coventry have dropped into that 21st spot. Now, what we must add is that we've done a bit of a switcheroonie here, because the whole narrative's been Birmingham are crap at home and actually a bit better away. Well, switch around now. 2 wins from 2 for Bowyer at home for Birmingham. And this game is an away game. And if we bring up the away form for Birmingham, it's back-to-back defeats, 1 point in 3, 23 points. And their home form, well, 3 wins in 4, in fact, at home. Last one for Karanka. Look higher up in the table and you see Brentford 36 points at home, 10 points from 5. Contrasting with the Brentford away form, okay, still 5 points, but it's 5 points rather than 10 in the last 5. I think what I'm saying in a rambly roundabout way is that Brentford might be a slightly different proposition at home than they are away from home at the moment, and vice versa for Birmingham. Brentford, I really did watch them yesterday, of course. Really did think that there was a drop-off without Dalsgaard and Henry. They've been without Henry for a while, haven't they? But add Dalsgaard into the mix and then balance issues, etc., etc. So there is that. And if you're Birmingham, Bowyer, we said what he'd do. Make it straightforward, simple, get some long throw-ins in, get Jutkovic on there, get them fighting, get them competitive and awkward to play against, and you might win some home games. And it's exactly what has happened. Let's have a look at your predictions on this one. Let's do a little scroll up here. Here we go. Okay, Liam, away, he says, for Birmingham. Fancy Birmingham. What's going on here? Look at this. Birmingham win. Blues beat Brentford 1-0. Yeah, that was the first game of the season, wasn't it? It was a classic Brentford one, that one, where they had loads of chances and didn't take them, and Brentford scored from Birmingham scored from a corner, didn't they? Brentford, mid-table now, moved to just get away from the bottom three. Never mind mid-table. Birmingham. What's going on here? Home. Birmingham. Decent performance by Birmingham against Swansea. Repeat. Different proposition at the moment, isn't it? Draw. Home. Brum. Brentford playing rubbish and Birmingham. Brentford didn't play rubbish yesterday, did they? They just didn't put it. They should have won that game, shouldn't they, given the chances they had? But that's been the thing for Brentford, hasn't it? That's been the Achilles heel for the Bees. Fanciest, says John. Brentford because of Tony. Away. Draw. Can see Brentford winning as long as they can cope with the Birmingham physicality. Absolutely. No, that's not any kind of an insult, Russell. Away, you ours. Hoping Brentford, but I think it'll be Birmingham. You have a lot of us Brummies on the channel. Wonderful news, absolutely wonderful. However, I think I may be about to upset all the Brummies because I think Birmingham are going to be a much different proposition. But I think Brentford are going to win this one. I think it's going to flip back a little bit. I think it's going to be tighter than it would have been under Karanka, obviously. But I am going to back Brentford in this one. Please don't all desert me. Home. Let's go for a home win there. But plenty of anticipation of Birmingham getting points in this one. Join me on Tuesday night. As ever, I will happily sit here and admit I was wrong if I'm wrong. So all a bit of fun, isn't it? Let me just do your run-in here for Brentford real quick. So, remember, they have a game in hand. Birmingham home, Preston away, Millwall home, Cardiff home. Can they get 6 or 7 points from those 3 home games, Birmingham, Millwall and Cardiff? Then Bournemouth away, that's not going to be fun for Brentford, I don't think. Rotherham home, Watford home, Bristol City away. Interesting. Rubs chin. Let's talk about Swansea, which has been a bit depressing recently, hasn't it? Swansea versus Preston, please. Give me your predictions. Swansea, draw, or Preston for this one. And Swansea, if we said Watford have gone on a really good run at exactly the right time, well, reverse that. Swansea have gone on a really bad run at exactly the wrong time, and it was 3 straight defeats. We've said it for a while that it was fine margins for Swansea getting up there. Brilliant job. Won a lot of tight games. Great game management, you're saying. Good defence. Woodman performing well. Mayhew picking up the slack up top where there's no real number 9. Didn't feel viable, though, did it? Wind back and watch some of these shows from 6 or 8 weeks ago. We were saying this before the run came, weren't we? That brilliant, but will it sustain? And it has not for Swansea. And that's 4 points from the last 5 games with 3 straight defeats. In that same period, Watford have 15. Utterly decisive 11-point swing over those 5 games. Incredible. Can they bounce back against Preston? Now, Preston did, of course, get a point against Norwich. However, they got a point with a deflected goal in the 94th minute against a Norwich team who were missing Aarons and Skip and a centre-back partner for Hanley as well. So there's a lot of caveats in that. And, of course, Preston were playing at home as well. So it may be a slightly different proposition in this one, but Swansea are not playing well at the moment at all. They'll be looking at this one as the bounce back. The home form is good on the whole, still 9 points from 5, but defeats against Bristol City and against Cardiff in 2 of those last 3 games. Wins over Borough and Coventry and Forest. In terms of away form for Preston, 4 straight defeats there for the Lily Whites. Let's see what you guys are saying. Swansea versus Preston. Let's have a look here. Right, here we go. Draw, Preston, draw. Preston, draw. Swans, home. Swans, draw. Home. Nice, Iain. Home, draw. Thank you, Robert, for forgiveness on this of all days. Swans have lost the ability to score. Draw. Lots of shouts on the draw here. Preston, draw. Southampton have gone 3-2 up. Draw. Couple of Swansea calls. Look, I'm going to go with the chat then. Go on. Do I need to play the Joker to call this a draw? I'm not sure I do I, on 3 straight defeats? Is that playing the Joker? I don't think it is it? Draw! Let's go for a draw then. So, just to recap, we have Norwich. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. I have Norwich beating Huddersfield, Watford beating Borough, Brentford beating Birmingham, and Swansea drawing with Preston, which would possibly, you'd start to make it a 2-horse chase, if it is indeed a 3-horse chase at the moment for second position. Right, let's move on. Luton versus Barnsley. I've really enjoyed tracking these two since Daniel Stendhal v Nathan Jones and then latterly Mick Harford in League One. And they've done the Championship and done League One proud, haven't they? Barnsley up there in 5th with this great playoff challenge, and Luton seemingly safe with 50 already. So, yeah, a little bit of history between these two from that League One battle in 2018-19, wasn't it? Yeah, they're both only in their second season in the Championship. Great stuff from both Luton and Barnsley. Barnsley, a trend down, I think we can call it, can't we? Definitely across a 2-game sample, because there's only 1 point. Across the 5-game sample, they do still have 8 points. So that's not a trend down over 5 games. Just very, very recently, the draw, obviously, against Reading and the defeat against Sheffield Wednesday. So some sense of a need of a bounce back for Barnsley, else people are going to start throwing out the running out of steam things. And then, of course, are Luton on the beach? This is the worry with hitting 50 points that early, when the expectations are stay in the division and then get as high as you can. So Luton don't want to run out of intensity. Get your predictions in for this one. Luton, draw, or Barnsley. Let's have a look at the homes and aways. Luton's home form, a bit spotty recently, but 7 points in 4 in defeats against Swansea and Cardiff, draw with Millwall, and that comeback victory over Sheffield Wednesday, and then a 2-0 over Coventry as well. Barnsley's away form is superb. Look at that. 5 straight victories for Barnsley at Brentford, Bristol City, QPR, Bournemouth, and Wickham. They're not flat track bullies there. Bournemouth, QPR, and Brentford in there. And QPR, of course, have been very decent throughout this run. So Barnsley are no mugs, in the words of Mick McCarthy, away from home. Shall we see what you guys are saying in the chat? Luton, draw, or Barnsley? What are you guys saying here? There we go. We'll start with Phil there. Away, another away, home, away, home, away, 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 away. Oh, it's a Moana. Nice. Some Disney for you there on an Easter Sunday. Barnsley's hunger may be too much. Home, draw. Barnsley, Luton narrowly. Away, or fear we'll miss out. Interesting, Eli. Could be a lot of goals in this game. Could go either way. Away. Don't think there's a prediction, but a commendation for both teams, which I think we agree with, given certain hierarchical things I don't like about the Championship. It's great to see a couple of ex-League One teams doing good things in here. Draw, narrow one. Look, I think I'm going to call this one down the middle. I think it's going to be a draw. Draw! Let's go for a draw. It'd have to be a scoring draw, though, wouldn't it? And two of the better teams in the division on transition. They do it in a slightly different way, but I think I'd go back. I think it was Kate who said in the chat, it could be one where both teams are open at the back and you could maybe get a 2-2 or even more. But I'm going to go for a draw in that one, which won't particularly help Barnsley's playoff call. But of course, let's look at Reading and Bournemouth, who are in the chasing pack. And we go into Reading versus Derby. So get me your predictions in, please. Reading are the home team, draw, or Derby in this one. Derby, really important win for them. They went to 43 points with that victory over Luton, who we've just mentioned. Let's bring the table up for you. Derby moved to 43 and 5 points. 5 points from the last 5. So they're at point per game, and a point per game to the end of the season for Derby takes them to 50 and likely safety. Of course, they need, a win or two would help in there, but maybe we're Luton a bit beach bally at the weekend. I don't know. You tell me, Luton fans or Derby fans. Reading, that's a definite trend down, isn't it? Over 4 games, 3 points now, and Bournemouth in that same period with 7. So that's why the gap has closed up. Bournemouth, of course, with a game in hand. We did Reading, didn't we, on the watch along? And Maite's chance blazed over, and of course Lucas Zhao could have won that game. Yes, I do understand Barnsley, maybe the decision DK backing into Raphael, maybe that was a bit soft as well. But certainly, if their finishing had been on point, they have 3 goals in that game, and good players as well. Maite and Zhao missing the chances, so feels a bit on edge with Reading. And just looking at Paunovic when Zhao missed that chance, and he's missed a couple of penalties as well. If you're a Reading fan, you could now start to tot up, some moments where you could say, oh, that so could have been a point more there, 2 points more there. Do you know what I mean? And if you then do miss out, and you wouldn't have thought with Reading, considering how they were playing at the start of the season, where they were finishing beautifully, weren't they, and efficiently winning games, that we'd be talking about finishing as something that would have them coming a cropper towards the end. Keep predictions coming in. There's the Reading home form. That's good. 7 points in the last 3 at home. Victories over Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday. A draw with QPR, and QPR are good at the moment. We have to not really treat them like a mid-table team because they're in sort of top 6 form over quite a long sample size. Derby's away form is not good at all. Look at that, 1 point in 5. In fact, it's very bad. However, they lost at Watford, Cardiff, Coventry and Stoke. A draw with Barnsley, and probably the worst game I've seen this decade, let alone this season. It was not pretty. I'm not sure on this one. So let's go to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Let's start here. Tasty fixture. Reading, home. Reading, home. Reading, Derby, draw. Reading, Derby, Reading, draw. Reading. Puskas to replace Zhao. That's not the worst shout ever. You tell me your thoughts on that, Mister. You're a well-read Reading fan. Any other Reading in the chat? Puskas, just get Zhao on the bench for a game. Give him a little rest. You never know what you're going to get with Derby this season. Fair comment. Reading. Zhao has rarely played this many games and is fading. Derby without Gregory and Waghorn. That's a good point. Given what Chris has just said, and Derby, where are the goals coming from Derby in this game? Could we see Zhao given a rest and Puskas in up top? I'm going to go for a Reading win. Home. Honestly, it would be a little bit of a shame. Reading have been in the top 6 all season, virtually, haven't they? Well, it must have been all season, given how they started. Be a shame to be in there all season and drop out, wouldn't it? So let's go for a home on that one. But the team who Barnsley and Reading are probably worried about possibly overtaking them on the rails here are Bournemouth. Let's talk about that. It's Blackburn, who are stinking the place out at the moment, versus Bournemouth. If anyone can get me Blackburn's form after over, say, the last 10, 15 in the chat, that'd be really great. I don't really have the ability to look it up right now, but feels like we could go back at least 15 to 20 games of very indifferent form from Blackburn. Get your predictions in, by the way, guys. Blackburn versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth, good win over Borough at the weekend, and 10 points from 5 for Jonathan Woodgate. Very, very serviceable. We always do this game, don't we? Let's add on 10 again for the next 5. We'd take them to 72 with 3 games to go. That smells like playoffs if they can do it. 10 points in the next 5. Only the one defeat in there for Bournemouth, which was to Barnsley at the end of their mega streak. And they've beaten Swansea. They've beaten Borough. Bristol City, everyone's winning at Bristol City at the moment, so we'll leave that one. But they've won some tricky games against some higher opponents, and Blackburn, as we just mentioned. I don't know how far it goes back. I assume someone will be on that in the chat for us. But 3 points in the last 5. They're on 46 with a small sense that Forest might move above them between now and the end of the season as well. So Armstrong close, I think. Don't know if anyone knows anything about that. Predictions in, please. Blackburn, draw, or Bournemouth. There is the home form for Blackburn. No wins in 5. I know they've had some tricky ones in there. Brentford, they lost to. Swansea, they drew with. Coventry, and they lost to Watford. So they have played a lot of the upper teams in the division. Bournemouth's away record's not great, is it? Only 5 wins this season. Draw at Preston and a win at Bristol City, like we've already mentioned. Feels like lots of arguments against teams rather than for teams here. Oh, thanks, Matt. There we go. 1 win in 13 for Rovers with only 3 draws. So, yeah, it's a 13-game sample size. It's you're coming up. That is a quarter of a season, isn't it? A 46-game season. So let's have a look here. Liam, away, Blackburn on the beach. Shouldn't be that low in the table, should they? But you may be right. Bournemouth. Who's playing at home? We go Blackburn, Bournemouth. Thanks, Azzy. 1 win in 10, 4 draws, 5 defeats. Not good. Blackburn, Bournemouth. Blackburn to get sucked in. I think they're they got 46. Yeah, I think they probably literally need 2 or 3 points between now and the rest of the season. Away, Blackburn 7 points from 10. Oof. Surprise it around. There you go. There's Dean playing his joker. Blackburn have not won in 6 at home. Draw, says Chris. Bournemouth win. Draw. Thank you, everybody, for getting the info in there. There you go. Portugalis, Don Ram. You love to see it, don't you? You love to see it. Look, I'm going for narrative here. Sorry, guys. Away. I can see a little sneaky Weasley Woodgate run towards the end of the season here. I can see Bournemouth having not, and don't misquote me on this, not as spectacular as Watford, but a sense that once it's got stable, that some wins will come. And not necessarily 2 points per game, but maybe 1.7, 1.8 for a while. I think it could happen. So I'll go Bournemouth on that one. Right, moving on. Sheffield Wednesday versus Cardiff. Get your predictions in, please. Guys, Sheffield Wednesday at home, draw, or Cardiff, it is Darren Moore versus Mick McCarthy. And not a good round for either last time. Cardiff losing to Forest, coupled with the Bournemouth win, does put the playoffs slightly unlikely. And someone said in the stream on Saturday, Cardiff, just the wins have stopped. And they're totally right, aren't they? The old McCarthy draws have been slipping in there. Every point's a prisoner when we'd had that brilliant streak when Mick took over. And it is 5 points in 5. That's not going to be good enough. Again, extrapolate that over the next 5, and you have Cardiff at 63 from 44 games. It's not going to happen there, is it? Unless we get the low tide of all low tides and only take 67 or something to get in the playoffs. I cannot see that happening. It's bound to be over 70, isn't it? Look at the totals already for Barnsley, Reading and Bournemouth. Sheffield Wednesday, well, they'd had 4 points in 2. Apparently, from my Watford friends and my Wednesday friends, didn't play too badly against Watford. But at the moment, Watford are in good team wins tight game mode, aren't they? And they're just doing the job, especially at home. So Wednesday, 32-8 to play. Let's go super good scenario for Wednesday. Let's go 2 points per game for the rest of the season. Takes them to 48. That's the number you're looking at, or the type of form. You know, automatic promotion, title winning form, 2 points per game over an 8-game sample to probably get you above the line, unless Rotherham and Coventry just trip over every week, which I don't think that's going to happen. I still think they'll be around the point per game mark, won't they? Let's quickly do the homes and aways. So Wednesday, your home team have had a good streak around December, January. They had 5 straight wins, didn't they, at home? Was it 4? Someone let me know in the chat. But look at that, 666, the number of the beast, say Iron Maiden, in terms of, so I think you call that bang average when all the numbers come up the same, but 1 point in 4 at home for Wednesday. Cardiff's away form, ominously for the Owls, is very, very good, isn't it? Look at that. That is 11 points in 5. Only Norwich have more points accumulated away from home this season than Cardiff. Interesting. What are you guys saying in the chat? You're saying happy Easter. Matt, you legend. I haven't got anything to raise to you. I haven't got a glass here. I'll raise you some tree ball mints. There's 3 left. Thank you very much, sir. Go and check out Matt's channel. We'll try and do something together at some point as well. Matt, always a good shout about Coventry there. Right. What are you guys saying here? Cardiff, draw. Home, says Iain, with his South Yorkshire hat on there. They're not friendly, are they? No, they're the ones that aren't friendly. Wednesday and Rotherham. Away, Wednesday look down already. Cardiff, draw. Cardiff, Wednesday. I think they're playing well with more too little too late. Yeah, quite probably. Wednesday, draw, away, home. I just don't fancy, and I can tell you this with my Ipswich head on. Mick McCarthy's got a really. I know this is kind of this. We can put this in the same box as the manager of the month curse and the new manager bounce. Mick McCarthy always wins at Hillsborough. Look it up. For that reason, away. I don't know if there's any Wednesday fans can tell us about the Mick McCarthy Hillsborough business, but far be it for me to go with curses. Let's go for a Cardiff win. And Wednesday, it's nearly time to stick a fork in them if they do lose that one, with Rotherham's 4-game week coming up as well. Right. Shall we head to the beach? Feels like the right time of year to head to the beach, and it's Stoke versus Millwall in a sort of top 10 shootout type thing. Get your predictions in. Both of these sides are playing pretty well, actually. I say playing pretty well, are having a nice little points per game recently. I know they can not be the best on the eye at times, these two, with Rowett and O'Neill in the dugout and happy to be somewhat passive in their approach. But I think someone just said too little too late about Wednesday. Feels a little bit like that with these two, doesn't it? The nice little run of form, but they're just sort of playing for 8th place, essentially, aren't they? We think Stoke and Millwall. Get your predictions in, please. Stoke, draw, or Millwall. And yeah, look, it's really good from both, actually. 9 points from 4 from Millwall and 10 from 5 for Stoke. Really, really nice form. Millwall beat Rotherham, didn't they? Survive that Michael Smith penalty as well. And Stoke, back-to-back wins. They won at Bristol City. Yes, I know everyone's winning at Bristol City. They beat Derby, a draw in there with Cardiff. The only defeat was against Borough. They also beat Wickham. Is it a bit flat-track bully-y? Is that fair of me to say? Let's look at the homes and aways. Keep your predictions coming in. Very good at home in the last 5 for Stoke. 12 points. Ouch. Millwall away. Decent as well. A couple of defeats in there. And it almost feels like the draws have dried up for these two. So you know what's coming, don't you? But we'll do your predictions first in this one. Right, what do we got here? Stoke, 0-0. A sunny, hot draw. Are you talking about the beach there, James? Mill. Nice Richard's doing these in emojis. You love to see it. Draw. And both managers would love it. First and second for draws. Draw. I would like to be on the beach too. Absolutely. Take me there. Draw. I can see where this is going. Yeah, Stoke, draw. We are shocking at home, says Tom. He's talking about Bristol City there. He's a Bristol City player in there. Both capable of playoffs, but yeah, I think you're talking at the start of the season. Yeah, Stoke, draw. F all will happen. And here bringing his profane language into the chat. Oh, he didn't type it out, did he? But there we go. Look, I'm with you, look, aren't I? Draw! We'll go for a draw in this one. It feels destined. What if it was 4-4? That'd be tremendous, wouldn't it? Absolutely tremendous. Right, let's move on. Nottingham Forest versus QPR. And I think someone worked it out for me. QPR, 2 points per game over 16 games, I think. It's like 32 from 16. That's really, really good from Rangers. Only Norwich and Watford. Maybe Barnsley. Barnsley be above that over the last 16? Couldn't sort of cope with that with the big winning streaks. Rangers haven't done that. But they're nicely in the middle of the table. Look at that, 53. And I'm not too prepared to say Rangers are on the beach because of the nice winning form that they are on. With Forest, we can smugly sit here and say we pretty much predicted this about 10 games ago, that Forest would trend down because of the hard run. It's very predictable with Houghton, isn't it? You can literally look at the fixtures and go, oh, they'll do all right in those games, but they'll struggle in those. They very much do play the league table under Houghton Forest, don't they? And we expected a trend up. I didn't expect it to begin quite this soon, but they've taken 4 points and a good away win at Cardiff at the weekend. So quite nicely poised, this one. Recent wins for Rangers against Coventry, against Millwall from 2 down, and against Wickham. Is that flat track bully with Coventry and Wickham in there? I don't know, you tell me. Homes and aways. Forest's home form, not good. Just the one win in there against Blackburn. They have played, though, and we talk about a tricky run, Bournemouth, Luton, the away assassins, Reading and Norwich in the last game. They've had some tricky ones. QPR away from home, 1 defeat in 5 with victories against Bristol City. Yes, everyone beats Bristol City at home at the moment. And the great away win at Watford. The only defeat was to Birmingham. There you go. You try and figure that out. That was Birmingham under Karanka, wasn't it? Right, predictions, please. Forest, draw, or QPR. What are you guys saying? Let's drop in here. Oh, no, we'll go to David with a super chat. Thank you very, very much, David. I can't raise a glass. I don't have one. So I'll raise a tree ball mint. I might stick one in my mouth. Hope that doesn't impede me talking too much. And Bazzy, happy Easter, all BB regulars. The BB regulars, sensational. We love your input here. Right. Where are we? Okay, Rangers. Houghton never lost the QPR in his career, has he? Incredible. Forest, Rangers, draw. Rangers haven't won in the City Ground in ages, says Andy Bob 2-1. Forest, draw. Forest, draw. Rangers, draw. Forest, draw. Rangers. No debate. End of story. Hashtag Forest. Remember, we are predicting the future, so stating it as a matter of fact doesn't really work, but there you go. And yeah, any other Rangers fans want to issue public apologies, humble public apologies and statements to Lee Wallace. We've had a few. They're all slagging him off, and now he's turned into the best left back in the world. Draw. Please get your apologies to Lee Wallace in the chat right now. Away, Rangers, Forest. And we're all very, very mixed on this. I've got no idea what is going to happen in this one. So I'm just going to go with Chris Houghton just because he's Chris Houghton. So home. Difficult one to call. I haven't played my Joker yet, have I? And I don't see myself playing it over these last two. Get your predictions in for Coventry versus Bristol City, please. Big game for Coventry. Bristol City on the beach, so to speak. But Coventry did not have a good round last time out. With their defeat against Rangers 3-0 and the Birmingham victory, Coventry are now in Rotherham's sights more than Birmingham are. So Coventry sat there on 39. They are still 1 point ahead of the point per game mark. Of course, if that maintains, they finish with 47. But if they were to have a sticky streak here and maybe only a couple of points from the next 4 or 5, they're in trouble, aren't they? All depends what Rotherham do. As I always say, there is no relegation fight unless someone beneath the line wins some games, which there's a reason they're beneath the line. Another thing I always say, Bristol City will be very pleased that they're not playing at home because they're rubbish at home and they're actually quite good away from home. They've had wins at Borough and Swansea of late, so some good teams they've beaten, Bristol City, but they just have the air of a work in progress at the moment under Pearson ahead of next season. Coventry's home form, fortunately for them, is much better than their away form. Wins there against Brentford and Derby and a draw against Wycombe, defeats to Borough and to Norwich of late. And look at Bristol City's away form. It's comical, the disparity between the home form and the away form. Superb. 10 points in the last 4 games. Wins at Birmingham, Swansea, Borough, as I mentioned, and a draw at Blackburn, and a quite nice, ugly draw, I think Pearson described it as. So there you go. You call this one. I'm going to plead the fifth, I think. Play the Joker and just hand it over to you guys. Coventry, draw, or Bristol City. And we can't use the homes and aways too much because both of these sides are playing in their preferred environment, let's just say. Right. What are you thinking? Coventry and Bristol City. Let's start there. Draw. Cov, draw. Cov. I'm not playing the Joker. Oh, is there a Joker emoji, Annie? That's sensational. I need to start using that. Cov sneak it 1-0. Bristol City. Anything other than a win is not good. I think if we beat Rotherham, we should stay up, says Callum. If Robbins learns from his mistake. Oh, Robbins against the Robins. Nice. We could sneak a 1-0. Not sure how we'll score. Ouch. Our Cov friends are not confident here, guys. Bristol City, draw. Cov, draw. 5 draws, Chris. You're going to get splinter accusations that I get every time, buddy. Where did I get to? Sorry if I'm not reading them all out. Draw, Cov, home, draw. I think we've done them all. We've done them all. Right. Oh, this is a hard one to call. I'm really sorry, Cov fans. I'm going to go for a cat amongst the pigeons here. So I'm not even playing a joker. Away. I'm going for the narrative. Coventry and Rotherham to travelator it on gladiators for the last few games and scratch and claw against each other. Look, basically, I just want them completely level on points by the time we get to that Thursday night game, Rotherham versus Coventry, which will be sensational. You got to love it. So, yeah, let's go for an away win. Why the hell not? Fairly mixed in the chat, though. You just don't know what you're going to get at Bristol City, do you? Right, last one, guys. And, well, I think save the best till last here. How about this? Rotherham versus Wycombe. You have to love the fixture computer sometimes. Just throw that grenade into the fixture list there. Rotherham versus Wycombe. A bottom three clash here. Very close to the end of the season as well. You love to see it. Give me your predictions here. Rotherham, draw, or Wycombe. Now, Rotherham and Wycombe are both performing quite well at the moment. Let me just bring up the live league table. So Rotherham had those 2 victories in the previous 3 games. And despite Richard Wood's red card, nearly got a point at Millwall. If they'd scored the penalty, they quite well would have. And it was just Białkowski having another good game, stopping them. 5 minutes to go, free shot from goal from 12 yards. You fancy your chances of a draw at that point, don't you? So Rotherham, I keep calling them the wild card. They absolutely are the wild card. But Wycombe, 7 points in 4. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Look at his face. Just look at his face. So they've won against Blackburn, Wycombe, and Preston. So a little bit of a sense that Wycombe will beat you if you're not at it at the moment, whereas Rotherham possibly are. The game is, oh, there you go. You can see it. Referee Linnington at the New York Stadium. This is going to be a cracker. This one. I hope it's absolute carnage as well. This was the first game of the season, wasn't it? And the ball was only in play for about 20 minutes or something scandalous like that. Brilliant stuff. Rotherham, now, given Birmingham's little splurge, sadly for them, have the worst home form, or, sorry, I won't say worst home form, because if you look at the points per game, it might change. The fewest points accumulated at home of anyone, which is a bit odd, because we considered that would be how they would stay up, because their away form was so bad in the Championship under Paul Vaughan. But not so much. Who of those defeats come against those 4 defeats in a row? Watford, Reading, Forest, and Cardiff. So all teams in the top sort of 8, plus Chris Hughton, have beaten Rotherham at home. But then look at that. We have the worst home team against the worst away team. Does that even things out a little bit? I suspect it does. And this is going to be a corker. Right, what are you guys saying here? Rotherham or Wycombe? Let's have a look. And we will start here. Okay, Wycombe, Wycombe, Wycombe. Oh, it's love for Wycombe. Look at this. Wycombe, Rotherham, Wycombe, Wycombe, Wycombe. What are you guys doing? Goodness me. Wycombe, Rotherham, draw. Unhelpful draw. You're speaking my language there. Liam's read the Bloom bingo card, hasn't he? Draw, Wycombe, Wycombe. Guys, we're hot on Wycombe here. Won't be a surprise to you lot if they win. Draw, Wycombe, Wycombe. If Rotherham lose, game over. Rotherham to scrape it. Yeah, Rotherham without Richard Wood. Wycombe. Thanks for the love, guys. Iain's our Rotherham expert here. Akim Fenwa. He hasn't scored a goal, has he, in the Championship? Rotherham draw. My word, if Wycombe win this one. Just a bit worried, Iain. 4 in a row. Right. I was going into this pretty sure I was going to yell home at the end of this. I fancied Rotherham, but I can't ignore you lot, can I, in the chat with all of that Wycombe stuff. So I'm going to move across to a massively unhelpful draw. Is someone going to score in the 95th minute and equalise, whichever way round? I was going to go home, I promise. I don't write anything down. I do go off the cuff and then look at I just have them written out and then write home or away after. So I'll go for a draw. I genuinely was going to back Rotherham for this one. So I'll go for an unhelpful draw, and it's all your fault if that does not happen. Guys, that is the show. Some absolute carnage coming up, particularly looking forward to Middlesbrough and Watford, and then Brentford and Birmingham on the Tuesday night. And, of course, Rotherham, Wickham. That's going to be sensational, isn't it? As well, I think Reading Derby might be a fair battle as well. Going to be good. Right, let me know if you want to shout out. I'll give you a shout out before we go. I'm going to be back here. What time is it now? I haven't got a clock anywhere. Where's my phone? I'm going to be back in 2 hours to do Villa and Fulham if you're interested in a dearly departed game. Looking forward to that one. But I will be here tomorrow for another extended Saturday Super Stream. We normally do just the second half of the 12:30, but because it's Watford and it's the automatic chase, I'll be live at 12:20. We're going to do the whole of Borough and Watford, and then we'll do all the 3 p.m.s and react. So I'm going to be on it's going to be another 4-hour Super Stream. So join me either later today for the Villa Fulham watch along. There'll be a dearly departed review. I've prepped most of it. We'll probably put it out early tomorrow morning. And then there'll be the Super Stream tomorrow. Then it will be the review at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and then another Super Stream. Or am I doing the review on Wednesday? I can't remember which way around I'm doing it. But we're going to get it all done in the end, guys. And thank you all for joining me and your predictions in this one. Let me know if you want to shout out. I'll just do the plugs before we go. Thank you to the Donovan Brothers who sponsor our preview shows, our series in love and memory of Michael, a lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. Thank you for the super chats. We had a couple, didn't we? Matt and who was the other one? Was it David? Sorry, I can't remember. We definitely had a couple, but thank you. So much going on while we're doing this. Please hit subscribe. Let's try and get over 15,000 by the end of the season. By the end of the weekend, we were going for, and all of that good stuff there. Teesprings for merchandise. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. Right, let's do some shout outs here. Thank God you didn't predict us. Like my predictions have any influence on anything, but there we go. Entertainment again. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, see you Tuesday night for Birmingham, yeah? 2.02. I don't know what that means, but I'll read it out anyway. Bring it on, says James. Great stuff. 2. What did I ask for? I can't remember. Thanks, David. Was it David who did the other super chat? I think it was, wasn't it? John, we're all Fulham today. Enjoy your eggs. I don't have any. There you go, Laura. That's a good effort. Someone screenshot that. If that's the winning bet, then you probably win about 70 grand or something on it with just £1. Thank you, Dexel. Liam is watching the Berlin Derby because he's a Euro football hipster, isn't he? Anir, legend, go and follow his channel. Shout out to Lee Wallace. Any more public apologies for Lee Wallace? I can't read that one because there's a profane language in there, Laura. Well done, QPR forever. Shout out to Luton, of course, one of my locals here. What time is it? Oh, God, there you go. 2:04. If I just waggle the mouse up there, I do get the time. There we go. Chris, legend, Leeds 2021 and Phil. Right. Join me later if you want to do Dearly Departed. I think I've got to do the hoovering now, which sucks a little bit, but hey-ho, it's the price we pay, isn't it? Thank you, everybody, for watching. Oh, by the way, I haven't used this. There's the points per game forecast for every team in the table. Take a screenshot of that if that interests you there. Not much changes, really, other than Bournemouth getting in the playoffs, but there we go. Right, thank you all for watching, and I will probably now say over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.